Aloha. Today I wanted to go into dreams a little more in depth. Recently, actually within the past week, I've cut down on my cannabis uh, intake down to zero um, for many different reasons. But one of the main ones was wanting to tap into my dreams a little more and explore that space as far as deciphering what exactly that space is and what relevance it has in our waking state and our overall uh, soul experience or soul purpose, and when we're awake and even when we're sleeping, like what does this stuff mean? So I hear a lot of people talk about how dreams are like the main definition people hear, or dreams are another experience for you to process information, learn more about yourself in another version of reality. So you can come back when you not so that you can come back in your waking state, because it's not centered around the physical reality, um, but it does interact with our physical reality. And yesterday I was going into explaining my dreams to my pops about. He was asking me, since when I have dreams, it's good to share your dreams with people because it reinforces your own memory and your own recall, both overall and in the moment when you're waking up. So I guess I'll just start off with how I go and how my whole dream space is. Um, well, maybe I'll go with it. So yesterday I had a dream. I'll start there and I'll go back into that. Starting with the dream will bring in the feeling of the dream, and then I'll be able to interpret it and explain it even more um, after explaining the dream. So, the dream I had yesterday is about 4 in the morning um, when I woke up, and I was in Tennessee. Well, first off, I've never been to Tennessee before. First, before that, how I realized I was in Tennessee is I was in a car or a truck with just like a regular Ford little truck or something. We had gotten off a freeway. Me and two of my friends gotten off a freeway, and we started looking at the car, and we were looking around and what was going on, and they kept talking about Tennessee and all this other stuff, and that part was kind of fuzzy. But that's when I realized that that's where we were. And something happened between us getting in the car and leaving and whatever. But I ended up on my own walking in Tennessee with my backpack and in a suburban area. And I walked up on this house, and there was a bunch of people in the house, and there were some people outside, and they were looking at me kind of like, oh, this dude is definitely not from here. So um, when I showed up there, they were immediately trying to like test me. That's what the feeling of the dream was. It was like a test of some sort. Um, and they asked me uh, to take my hair down because I wear my hair up in like a bun on the top of my head, and they were telling me, you need to take your hair down. So we need to look at your hair and inspect your hair to see if you are who you are. And I was like, initially I was hesitant to obviously I was just like, who the fuck are you? Did tell me, but they had already taken it. It was like a yard with a whole bunch of cars out in the front that were just like kind of. It looked like an environment that could have been dangerous. It could have escalated real quick if I could have taken it to another place. And in that moment, the status quo was not in my favor. I was definitely not in my environment, and these people were getting ready to like really do something next. So I was like, well, I ain't got nothing to be afraid of or scared of, especially about taking down my hair. So I'll just take down my hair. So I took down my hair, and they kind of looked kind of shocked. That's what I remembered, and they were like, okay, you can come in. So I went in the house, and it was kind of like an old, ran down house full of people, and they were just talking. Half the people were like paying attention to me, like the dude was outside, like really like, what the fuck is this dude doing here? And then the other people were inside, not even. They were just doing like a restaurant. They were just about their day. So I'm in there, and the overall I'm by myself still. Overall feeling is, man, I gotta get out of here. So I left, and I remember walking across the lawn where I just came in, walking to the street, making a right, going up this little hill, and then coming down this hill, and about 4 houses away from where I just was, on the right side, there was this lady coming out of the house, and she was gonna cross my path, going back the way that I was going, just coming from. And when I got there, to when we got to crossing paths, I had mentioned to her, hey, look up in the sky, there's 2 suns in the sky. And in that moment, it kind of, when I said it out, I actually verbalized it, then that like implanted it even further into my head, to look at the sky. I just kept on walking. I said it real nonchalant like, and then she kind of stopped, turned around, looked at me, and I was looking at her. She was looking at me. I was telling her, don't look at me, look at the suns up there. There's 2 suns in the sky. And the sky was all orange and reddish color, and the sun was probably about 3.5 to 4 hours away from being sunset, so it wasn't even supposed to be that color right then at that time. After that, I kept walking. I don't know what she did, but I kept walking, and I was just like kind of cruising down the hill, looking at these 2 suns, one to the left and one to the right, behind some clouds, and it was clear. I mean, clear. You can clearly see 2 suns in the sky. So I'm walking down the hill. I know as I'm walking towards the city center side, because I know I got to get to a train station so I can get back home. So I'm getting down to the train station. That's basically the whole dream, pretty much. But I get down to the train station, and I'm walking around. It looks like a New York train station or something like that. I still have the feeling like I'm in Tennessee, but it's weird because I feel like I'm in New York at the same time, because the train doesn't look like the BART here. It looks like a New York train or something like that. Anyway, I get down there, and I see people walking around. By this time, it's all night, and I'm just looking like, oh, well, I need to get on one of these trains. And I'm thinking in my head like, oh, this is kind of late for a train. It feels like 11 o'clock at this time at night. And at that time of going back and forth, like, oh, thinking, is the train here? And then getting ready to look for a train time schedule or something like that. That's when I woke up. Woke up out of that dream. But I just wanted to share that because that was the most intense dream that I had all year today. And it mirrored with some really crazy things that are going on in my waking state around here in the community. Another crazy thing, somebody had passed right outside on my block out here, that same night, or that same day. And it was really, really a really intense day yesterday. But I really went into my dreams and explaining dreams to pops yesterday, and I went on for like 20 minutes, and I was like, oh man, I gotta go into explaining what they are. I like lost a lot of the time explaining the dream, so I'll explain it more in the next time. But I can get in it good. So anyway, um, so the dreams itself, we have the understanding of birth, and we have an understanding of death, and our dreams are somewhere in between, off and on, flicker rates off and on. Like, we have dreams every night. You're always dreaming, whether you remember them or not. You're always dreaming, and what happens is that time and the physical reality, and the reason why we are so separated from our dreams is because that space is also a learning environment. It's also a healing environment. It's a space where you can interact with yourself. It's a space where you can interact with each other and source, and you can learn a lot from your subconscious mind. You can learn a lot from observing your how your subconscious mind interacts with your physical reality right in that moment. If you work that muscle memory of that dream, because about 2 years ago I spent like a whole year, 6 months heavy duty, just recording each and every dream that I had, and I got it to a point to where I was waking up every morning remembering like 45 minutes to an hour worth of dream recall. And so what happens is, in order to control people, you have to separate themselves. You have to separate people. You have to divide them into a space to where they have no connections to each other. They have no connections to themselves. They have no connections to even what their selves are. So I was watching a thing yesterday where this little boy was having a recall about his previous life, a reincarnation story. This was on Galactic Free Press. It's probably on some other things, but it was a YouTube video where this kid was remembering his life as a fighter pilot in World War II, and how he died. He was remembering this whole thing. So he was probably, I think he was like 5 years old or something like that, but they slipped in there real quick. Yeah, he used to remember a lot more, but he's starting to lose his memory, and they kind of just glossed over that. But I really focused on that because it's nothing to really gloss over, because that's very important. That time frame right there, like, he had a connection to his previous life, like actually observing things that happened in his previous life, and he brought that back here, and then his parents took him back to those people, and then he interacted with those people from a previous life, so much so that the people they interacted with understood where he was and what he was talking about and who he was, and who he is right now is all the same soul in a different body. So we have these dreams that we have. We are, in a sense, out of body. Our body is anchored here while we are out in a space flying around. So this is just like another mini death that we have. So we live and die every time. For observation purpose right now, we live and die. You're never dying. You never die. There's flicker rates that happen. Like even this, right? Like, this is not moving at 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, 4 second. There are many microseconds, and this whole thing is a moment. The time itself is an illusion that we get, triggered into over and over and over again to maintain the reality, the so-called reality of what our surroundings are and who we are. So we get these reinforcements from controllers about who and what we are. One of them is the clock, the time, the tick, 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 tick. And the other day I woke up, I was hearing a tick, 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 tick around here, and I don't have any clocks in my room. And I heard a tick tick, and I heard it very easily. It was easy to hear, but it was very like a subtle feeling. But when you're sleeping, you feel that space. You interact with that. You know, you can hear it, and your body adjusts to it. Your subconscious adjusts to it. Everything around you. So we have clocks around us. When you wake up, that's the main thing. And I'm glad I started there, because I'm going to end this video right now, because I want to start the next video so I have enough time to talk about how when we wake up and then we come back into the physical reality. So I'm going to end it right here, and I'm going to go into the next space talking about actually what the code is with dreams, um, as far as understanding what it is that separates us from that. So until next time, peace, love, harmony.